Okay.
Do you like to talk in?
That's how I'm moving. And background action. Action. Action.
The goal was to keep it as teeming as possible, to keep up the pressure that Eric Packer is feeling as he's going along that day. And I think we succeeded quite nicely. We worked with our props department who, gave background performance quite a bit to do. We insisted on a lot more extras or background performance than we actually were budgeted for just because it needed it.
I think our biggest day for the riot was 160. We had our idealists who were just basically a younger group that were protesting, but, in a non-violent fashion. And then we also had a category of anarchists. And they were the little more aggressive group, and they came out in their masks and they're black. And we had some specialty people come in as well and mixed in some stunt people so we can get a more accurate interpretation of a riot with the smashing of cars and jumping around and that sort of thing.
When Braden runs in, he's going to have a Molotov cocktail, which he's throwing over there. It doesn't have real gasoline, but the cord will be lit, all right? So there will be flame. So at the point when he runs in, nobody goes through there. Unless they're the stunt performers at that point in time, none of you guys go through there until after he throws that. Everyone got that? So you guys are on that side? Yeah.
I'd like to do a test. So let's load that thing. Back everyone off from here.
You can make a couple steps forward.
Okay. Fire in the hole. And fire! Okay. All right, good.
Hey, let's use that gun.
And you're going forward. You're getting people out. And then you're right on his heels. Background! Go, guys. Go, go.
Action!
Action!
The idea of being someone who really had an understanding of what a company might be producing and where its place in the world was and what was happening with the economy of the company that supported that industry, none of that matters. It's all a microcomputing game. I was reading fascinating articles about how there's a struggle to get your computers closer to Wall Street and to various stock exchanges because the fiber channels would be shorter, and therefore you would, by micro-milliseconds, have an advantage over people who were a little further away and their fiber cables were longer, And that's suddenly what the investing is all about, rather than anything to do with actually producing something useful for people, something popular, something that people buy.
What is the measurement called a nanosecond?
10 to the minus 9th power.
This is what?
1 billionth of a second.
I understand none of it.
There are zeptoseconds.
Good, I'm glad.
The octoseconds. 1 septillionth of a second.
Because time is a corporate asset now.
Eric is totally bound up with that kind of micro-technology. It has nothing to do anymore with reality, actually, or humanity.
Either come from this way, and he drops them.
Yeah. Or what if he just blocks him and throws him that way? Why does he have to hit him?
Yeah. Okay. Let's see that.
Spin him. Yeah, spin him. Put there. Okay, so take him out like you did with a punch. Get Flint as he comes in. Stop him. Block him, and then just throw him out.
So let's just look at that.
Okay. So first one.
Right here.
Second one. Block. Punch him. Try and get the knee up high.
Yeah.
Because you don't see it too much. Oh. But if you get it up high, because you can, because you're tall, right?
Oh, yeah.
Punch him in the back of the neck.
Whatever you feel.
I love stunt guys. They're always like, hit me harder. When you grab me by the neck, really strangle me. And you're sitting there going, like, look at my hands. Like, I don't know if you... No, when you grab me, pop my eyeball out. They always want to get the best shot. It's always stunning to me how committed they are. They were fantastic.
Kevin, once you're comfortable, you can go change. Okay. Go change. Good.
All right.
All right. So,
Jackson, bud.
Spectres haunting the world. Spectres haunting the world. Spectres haunting the world. Spectres haunting the world.
In the novel, he gets out of the sunroof to see what's going on. And then the guy with the brick is trying to hit him, and that's why there's that look. And I left it in the script, but I knew that we were not going to have a sunroof.
It felt like, because there's so much happening.
No, it doesn't make any sense, and you'd never be able to see it.
The animal unleashed.
Yes. At last.
I know, so much.
You've been so restrained.
Pushing the anger down.
You've been so restrained.
Yeah. Marty, what are you looking at?
Hey, I was looking at him. Welcome. 1 year the day after the G20 riots.
Yes.
Right.
No, it's the Canucks. The Canucks. Come on, that was a better riot.
It's a week.
Did you watch the YouTube footage? It's unbelievable.
And it's so strange because people are nobody's angry. They're just having a great time. Unlike the G20 where people were angry.
People were angry at the cops, though.
Well, yeah, but I mean, they didn't have a political agenda or anything like that. They just thought, hey, let's burn stuff. That's really fun.
It's total herd. Just everyone feeding them.
And they're just standing around and kind of ruminating. It was very odd. That's what was so disturbing about it. It's not like a normal riot. You have very angry
like
people. These guys, these are really angry.
These are angry people.
Let a fine machine degrade in public. That's a scandal, man.
Everything's a scandal. Dying's a scandal, but we all do it.
You ain't heard? Brother Fez.
What?
Dead. Dead died earlier today.
I don't know this.
on action, he's moving, Dolly's moving, and we start dialogue, right? So let's have it quiet, please. Action.
What do we know?
We know it's not an organized terror cell. International kidnappers with ransom demands. I did that one scene where I'm walking along the limo and I'm delivering all this information to Eric about what's happening. And when we actually shot it, all of a sudden there were, hundreds of extras walking around me. And I'm like, now I'm really feeling the chaotic energy.
Folks that are on this side, and I will cue you guys, okay? Don't go without me sending you, all right?
That's when, as an actor, I can't be like me in this situation. I have to be like Torval, who would be calm. And just the more calm I am and the slower my heart rate is, the more I can observe and see anyone who's trying to penetrate my security.
Action!
Oh, we know it's not a group.
This is good. You see how close your head is to the fort, but then you start to drift away, and then this space gets bigger and you get smaller in the frame. And I just want to see you a little better, that's all. Although it's not bad. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just the closer to the camera you are, without starting to cut the top of your head, the better.
The tone's right, though.
The tone is absolutely right.
Do we care?
We don't have a name.
There are some directors who are very protective of the image. They have one monitor and they don't want the actors to look at it. I find it completely the opposite. I want everybody to see it, everything, and to be that involved and to know what we're doing. And you get actors coming up and saying, that's a great shot. I get grips coming up and saying, I love what you're doing. And they're involved and they're excited, and it just makes for a great communal feeling, a very family kind of feeling, and I love it.
Eric.
Cut him.
Got it! There's so many people.
I know it's gonna sound crazy what I'm saying, but it almost sounds like, I'm going to church, and he's like the pastor. And he's coming to bring the good news. He has that vibe, like, when he speaks, you're like, okay, tell me more. And when he walks on set, we're all like students. We want to listen. Okay, what do we do, sir? We're eager to open up our textbooks and start writing things down.
Especially given the kind of movies that I normally make, it's kind of strange to say that It's love that really motivates the set, and it's kind of sucky too, I have to admit. It sounds terrible. I mean, it's not just love for everybody that we're working with, but love for cinema, love for the movie-making experience.
That looks pretty good. Are you comfortable?
Yeah. Just trying to get here as well, right? Yeah. Here with the curls. How does it feel having a bunch of girls playing with the hair?
This happens all the time.
You're a lucky guy.
Look what you got me doing, David.
I know. You look so, like, relaxed.
Beautiful.
Remember to be dead when we shoot, okay? Don't laugh.
Remember to be dead.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's hard to explain what lyrics mean. They mean different things to different people. And what they mean to you is probably different than what they mean to someone else. So I like to keep it that way. I like for people to identify with my music the way they feel is fit for them. But one common theme is we're just trying to find some peace. Brother Fez, baby. You know, I grew up around Sufi ideology, so I have a good understanding of it and these kinds of things, but also just the way he's meant to be, this guy who makes music that has street edge, street following, but also has like a peaceful component to, and you know, my music is a bit like that as well.
As soon as he goes,
yeah,
you guys can step into position and start.
All right.
And that'll get you into the shot quicker and tighten it all up.
All right.
Got it?
Pictures up. Let's start lighting the candles, guys.
Ready, and action!
It should be fun. I've never really worked like that before. I've always just written something from my own perspective. And then now to write from a character in a film is a different process. It's one of the reasons why I'm doing it. And I wonder if it's informed by a feeling from a character, a script, what it will be like. I mean, I feel like it should be slightly melancholy, but also a bit hopeful, a little bit of a Sufi chanty vibe. But right now it's just theory. We'll see, you know.
Background.
As a composer, if you have a good author and a good filmmaker, that's a great thing. That's a gift. I write music probably every day in the same way that you would write a note or write a letter or have an idea and you jot it down. I mean, that's what I'm doing all the time. But I'm dealing with a much more abstract art form than printed words. I'm trying to create something ends up as vibrations in the air, essentially.
Give it, and camera.
I've often said that Howard is almost the ultimate actor in my movies because he plays every role, you know, as the music behind every character. And he changes, like an actor, his performance for each movie to suit the movie, the tone of the movie.
Playback. Camera action. Keep going. Keep going.
This is very crazy.
I do the research, I think about what I want to write, and then I write it. So the process of composition is not a team process. That's me, you know, alone, absorbing the film, absorbing the book, and then writing pieces that relate to it.
Music? Okay. Too loud, so what? It is beautiful how they dance.
I had worked on another film with Metro, and I knew them and liked them, and I thought they would be right for this. So I actually wrote a score that they performed. It was very collaborative, and we worked fluidly back and forth. They didn't work so much with the film, they worked just with the score that I wrote.
You tell me when we leave, I take you out.
it's actually eerie how accurate the movie is because the book was. Even the pie in the face scene was played out internationally on the financial stage with Rupert Murdoch getting a pie in the face.
Yes, Pete?
Marker. Set.
What is funny is that cream pies, you know, is something that comes from silent films. And in this scene, this guy talks so much. He's revendiqué. He has things to say. I think this film will say something absolutely terrible on the times we are living. There is something between the people that have power in a car that doesn't see the world and what is collapsing all around. That is a metaphor that only Cronenberg, I think, could grab. So with an accurate and very funny but scary. It's a scary film.
Today you are named by the Bastard Assassin. And this is my mission worldwide to sabotage power and wealth. I am 3 years waiting for this. Oh, it's freshly baked only, don't worry. I passed up President of the United States to make this strike.
Is it a new film that you're doing that now? No, I don't.
I just had to that time.
No, I take what.
Oh, no.
No, because I'm here tonight.
Okay. I will try not to do that. Yeah, sorry.
I know the hair. That's why we didn't put the mic in the hair.
Right. So it was the hair, not normally, but.
But that time it was the only way I could stop. Like.
No, okay.
He's fighting, so.
But we'll
beautiful.
I'll do
some more. But it's good.
No, at the beginning, in fact, I succeed to escape. I know the sound engineer for a long time, Jean Mugel, and he told me 1 take, 2 takes, no rehearsing, because he has confidence in people.
No, but it's good.
I try to go quicker, but
very good take.
Sometimes that's the strange thing. Where is the control? You don't know.
This is my mission worldwide to sabotage power and wealth.
You know, I didn't used to think that I liked actors because when you're a young director and you have a 2-week shooting schedule for your entire movie, as I did for my first movie, actors are kind of like the bulls in the china shop, you know. It's very fragile setup. You don't have much room to move as a director. There are incredible pressures to deliver the shots in a very limited amount of time, and you've got special effects, you're crashing the car, you're shooting somebody, and then you've got these dialogue scenes with actors that are emotional.
I am beaten and kicked by security so many times that I'm walking dead.
And at first I felt if the actor would say, why don't I do this? I would be afraid to say, the reason you can't do that is because we don't have time to shoot it. You can't go over to the window because we can't light the window. You have to do it here. But I gradually realized that actors can, in fact, be your collaborator, and that if you tell them what the problem is and ask them to help you with it, they will.
Do you want me to chase him more?
No, I mean, if you could grab him and pick him up, and if you do grab him and pick him up, if you do, turn him to the camera. Okay. Don't forget, because if you grab him and hold him, but you're here, so as long as you're sideways or towards us.
Yeah.
But just, I mean, the rest of it was good. You weren't, you know, the blocking was just sort of.
I was trying to stay.
That's right. It didn't have much. But try and grab him.
Sure.
Because that was nice.
I'll pick him up. Yeah, great. Fantastic. And I'll throw him.
No, don't.
No, I just kind of like.
Yeah.
I won't throw him over there.
No, I know what you mean.
I promise.
Don't throw him too far.
No.
Okay.
How many actors do you get to say that? Don't throw him too far. How often do you get to say that?
This is my first time.
Because you're actually thinking he might be able to throw him
quite
pretty
far.
Darn far.
Yeah, quite far. Right into the concrete there. I was
After Jordan, I come pick you up.
Yeah.
Perfect.
But that's what we did before.
Okay.
So I can make jokes on basketball.
Okay.
Flying pie, and
Flying pie, then
and you take me for a fucking Brunei.
Thanks, guys. We're good.
And then I would go with them.
Perfect. And you're just
To have assistants, to have collaboration, to have colleagues. I mean, the more help I can get, the better off I am. Plus, I think of myself as lazy. People tell me I'm not really. But if someone will do the work of preparation, let's say, as an actor or a cinematographer or an editor, it makes it a lot easier for me to concentrate on other things because the basics are being taken care of by other people, and more than the basics, I mean subtle things as well.
One night, I fall from a tree on Michael Jordan. Yeah, the famous flying pie. It's video museum quality for the ages. And I kissed Sultan of fucking Brunei in his bath.
C'est un cadeau. I mean, I don't know if you say gift in English, un cadeau. It's an idea from Paulo Branco, who was my father in movies. I started as assistant director. I did all jobs on films produced by Paulo since I'm 17 years old. And I think he had the idea, and he talked to David about that. And I think David was okay. And when I arrived with the plane, they wanted me to go to the hotel. I said, oh, can I just go directly on set? I want to see him work. I mean, that is something amazing for me, that know his films so well.
So mostly you're looking after set.
Yes. And then you see, like always, people that are so great are often so simple. He doesn't need to say a lot. He doesn't need to say all the bullshit.
Yeah, you do whatever you do.
Yeah. And we'll follow.
Yeah, we'll follow you as best we can.
You can just walk through the areas you're going to be so Peter can see you.
Works with the same people, same DP, to see the relationship with Peter. It's a way of working that are so inspiring.
Robert will be here. Yes. That is the good eye line.
Yes. On this side, huh?
Yep. We have not so much a shorthand as great reference points. You know, we can talk about movies that we've actually made together before, and our experience developing, evolving our careers in Toronto. That's a great reference point as well. You know, all of these people that we're talking about work on other movies. So they come to me from experiences that they've had, and they bring any good things that they've experienced there to the set. And so we're constantly evolving. I mean, the fear, I suppose, would be that you'd all get in a rut and you kind of be bored with each other. But that never seems to happen. You know, it's only we were so excited to come back together again and to crack the nut that this new project is, because it's different. And the cast you're working with is different. So there's enough that changes that you don't get bored.
Cosmopolis is unique because it takes place over one script day. You have one costume for each person, and so you really have to nail it in the beginning. With Rob Pattinson, he starts off with his complete suit, then he ends up with a shirt and the pants, but it's still part of that one costume. And for every person in the film, they have one costume. It was difficult at times because people flew in from everywhere. Matthew from Paris, people from London, from the West Coast, and everybody would fly in about a day and a half. Maybe if I was lucky, 2 days before we shot. You get sizes and sometimes they're not correct. So it was very tricky.
Several members of my family have actually worked on my movie, so it's my real family as opposed to my film family. My sister Denise has worked on most of my movies as the costume designer. Caitlin is the official set stills photographer on this movie as well.
So you're two on the back of the car?
I've been visiting sets since I was a little kid, and ever since I can remember, it's definitely felt like a family. It's just always been very clear that everybody's opinions are important and everybody's ideas are heard. So coming into this being my first time working on with my dad, I was really excited to finally be part of it, even though I feel like I've been part of it this whole time, observing them, before I knew that I would someday end up here.
It looked you good.
First of all, from an egotistic point of view, it's interesting to have your family really know what you do. You know, for anybody, in a way. Because you can say, oh, you know, he's a director, but what does that really mean? And to see the daily grind, you know, day by day, it's not just red carpets. In fact, I enjoy shooting more than I enjoy red carpets, but it's really understanding what it takes to be a director, and they see that, and they're part of it, and it's really a lovely feeling.
You know, the thing is that David loves to have family around. We have a very loving, good family, and why not? You know, the bottom line is that he's always said, which is true, your family is going to do the very best they can for you. I was sort of thrown into big films with him at the beginning, and I think that's with Caitlin as well. You know, you just get thrown in and you do it.
I just feel like I'm high now. I'm method. Guys, I'm playing high.
Don't play the high. I never did anything to you.
Because the set in the limo was so incredibly tight, we devised this new method of taking stills where I will crawl into the limo once the entire scene has been shot, and I will just sort of sit where the camera was, and the actors will reenact the scene for me. You know, it's a different way than I've done before, and it's a different way than most people are used to, but it's worked out incredibly well for us, so I'm able to properly capture it the same way that they're capturing it for the movie. And in all the other sets, too, they're so incredibly detailed, and it's just been really, really great to make sure that I get the same shots that the camera's getting.
Let's get some stills here.
Give him a good kick.
Let's go
That's gonna work in the still.
Rob is a really incredible actor, and I completely respect everything that he's doing. Sometimes, by the time the take is over, he's ready to be slightly more relaxed when the stills happen. So, you know, if he's going to sass someone, it's better that he sass me, because my camera can't hear him. So it's a bit of a different process.
Let's go.
There's still someone tracking you.
Still someone out there.
This was a petty incursion. Next time, no pies and cakes.
Dessert is over.
Yeah. He's out there. And he's armed.
I'm treated as an employee. There's never really any kind of social interaction or anything like that. So I'm just doing my job, trying to keep him alive. In a way, I kind of feel a little fatherly.
Just now.
What?
A report from the complex concerns his safety.
I question his decisions, but like any father with an adult son, you can't make decisions for them. You can only try to guide them the right way and provide them with information.
But we still want what we want.
And he never really takes my advice. I mean, my dad feels that way with me, too. I'm totally trusting him.
Absolutely.
There's no reason.
Not any reason. This is the last thing that you or the audience would think would ever happen. Yeah. It should make sense after the fact, but not before, you know. Yeah. Like we just shot a sex scene that was really about you. You were there right when we were there.
You didn't know that.
But it's true. It's true. Right. Like all he's talking to her about is where's Torvald. In retrospect, it really makes weird sense.
I've just been pissed off since that scene.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You messed up his sex life somehow. I don't know. I don't want to discuss it, but you know, you did.
Okay.
Okay. So just approach from there. We just take the end of the bar.
I think that with Robert, because of the kind of fella that he is, it would be very easy for us to be chummy, buddy all the time. But I think that we're probably both holding back on it a little because, you know, you kind of gauge your connection within the piece and you try to resonate the same way in real life. Only I definitely like Robert a lot more than Torvald likes Eric.
You put it up to your mouth and you say Nancy Babbage. Then you hand it to him. And then you just, I mean, you rather than, so in other words, you keep talking a bit. You don't give it to him right away. You hold back a bit.
Sure.
Yeah. Let's see how that works.
If you hand it over there, then I can talk to the gun about what he's saying.
That's true. In that case, the other idea is you hold it up to his mouth to say Nancy Babbage, like it's a microphone.
Yeah, that's cool.
That would be good.
Nancy Babbage.
No, but this is a crucial moment.
Yeah.
Be serious.
So am I that close to him when I'm shooting?
Sure. Just hold it sideways to him. But don't move too far away from him.
This is going to be a big headshot.
Yeah. You know what? That's not a bad angle. Under the chin, honestly. It's good. We'll try to find a way to do it in one shot, you know? It's just more shocking if you do it in one shot, and it feels more real, and it's so close.
You can't do it otherwise. You have to.
Well, since I've been working with him, so the last 6 films, I have seen a change in David's filmmaking style. His style has become very minimalist. This film especially.
I haven't figured out the exit yet, but...
When I first met him, he would do a wide shot and a medium shot and a medium close-up and a close-up of everything. But of late, his style has become pared down and lean. And we do very few takes, and we do very few setups, carefully chosen. And he thinks about it a lot, how he's going to use the material, because it's pretty daring to do very few shots. Sometimes we only do one in a scene, giving no chance to alter the rhythm of the scene afterwards. So everything has to be perfect, everything has to work.
You play?
Not really my game.
You can usually tell